Hello, good morning and welcome to this edition of News Desk with me, Bernice Abubedu-Lanza. In our headlines, for our dialysis crisis series today, we tell you the story of 15-year-old Priscilla Santi, who misses classes twice a week for dialysis amidst a crushing financial burden on her family.
My mom and dad do not have money either.
We have details as hospital authorities narrate how relatives of patients sometimes instruct them to take them off the machines because they can't afford the cost of dialysis. Meanwhile, medical superintendents demand government pays realistic salaries to skilled health workers as they describe this year's brain drain as the worst in the country's history.
I can tell you that there are facilities that are losing about 20 to 30% of their quality staff every year. This is more severe this particular year.
And later, over 45 out of 117 schools arrive at the KNUST campus ahead of the preliminary stage of the NSMQ 2023.
Our Father, bless our school, bless our works and bless our play.
So it's in between easy and difficult. It's not really difficult, but it's not also very easy.
So right now we are coming with our A game on and expect the best from us.
Got all these and more here on News Desk. Please stay with us. On your digital television and around the world at myjoyonline.com. Today we start with our dialysis crisis series as we delve into the harrowing stories that unfold not only in hospitals but at very core families torn apart. It's a story that paints the agonizing choice of families of patients between witnessing their loved ones slip away or embarking on a desperate quest for money to keep them on the dialysis machine. Richard Kojunyako shares the story of 15-year-old Priscilla Santi, who misses class twice a week just to be on a dialysis machine. And that's not all. Her family is also crushing financially, and this is threatening to tear apart the fragile threads that exist.
The humming sound of medical equipment here at the renal unit of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital welcoming patients. It's a Tuesday morning and 15-year-old Priscilla Santi is being wheeled into the renal unit here.
The doctors told me I have to be on a machine, and I have to be on that machine either twice or thrice a week.
For now, she has to travel nearly 100 kilometers from Chifumampong with her mother to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital every Tuesday and Thursday to have her dialysis session.
My mom and dad do not have money either. We have become miserable. I am appealing to the government to help me live through this. Otherwise, I may die.
Priscilla, a junior high school pupil, now carries a weight much heavier than her school bag. Her daily battle now is not with textbooks and homework, but with the relentless adversary, renal failure.
I want the government to support me so I can live to fulfill my dream of becoming a nurse.
The burden of her illness has not only taken a toll on her fragile body, but has shattered her world due to the family's precarious financial situation.
They said that could be 3.5.
They say every section is 350 cedis. And this in addition to getting blood and other medication.
Presla's mother, Ruth Ofori, has been a pillar of strength for her daughter and is determined to ensure her only daughter lives. With teary eyes, she shares the story of her family's headache, struggling to cope with the emotional and financial strain that comes with caring for her only daughter battling renal failure.
From the doctors, if I keep on missing this section, I may lose my daughter. And I need the help of the government.
Her voice quivers as she recounts the sleepless nights and endless hospital visits, each one a reminder of their uphill climb. But Presla is not alone in this fight. Thomas Vincent Khan has lived with kidney diseases for a decade.
The people who came and could not survive just a week or even a month. So for me to survive it all these 10 years, it's really been a tough one.
For Thomas, the thought of heading to the dialysis machine is not just physically draining, it's also a haunting financial specter. The towering cost of dialysis looms over him like a relentless shadow, casting doubt and despair. Thomas speaks of the silent tragedy he has witnessed over the years, a grim parade of 100 busloads of people who have lost their lives to kidney failure because they lack the financial means to access dialysis treatments.
Most of the time, it's not easy always chasing people or asking people for help because it is very difficult to sustain. For instance, if somebody gives you 1,000 to help, you can't go to the person every day or every now and then to ask for the same help. And this is a disease that you always have to be coming to the hospital. Without that funding, you can't come for dialysis. And here is a case that it is a pay as you go. So it means that if you don't have money, you can't come for dialysis. And like I mentioned, there are people who have died because they cannot have the money to come for dialysis. And to tell you the truth, there are lots of the people we have lost money to come for dialysis. And to tell you the truth, there are lots of the people we have lost.
That the Ghana Football Association under Keto Kreku and its Executive Council, they've been horrendous in terms of their management of football in the Ghana Football Association under Keto Kreku and its Executive Council. They've been horrendous in terms of their management of football in the
interviews he had after the minority reached the BOG and their petition was not delivered because they insisted on handing it over to the governor himself. While reacting to it on PM Express last night, banking consultant Mr. Otwe Champon explained the losses incurred by the BOG were abnormal and not deliberate, describing the protest as unnecessary.
Their concern is about the 60 billion loss, which is a technical loss in the sense that DDP, what they did was to change the financial structure of the bonds. Once you change the financial structure, then by accounting standard IFRS 9, you have to make provision for the impairment, which is in layman's language, provision for a loss. Gladly, the person leading the charge in the minority is a chartered accountant and is aware of this technicality, that it wasn't a normal activity loss, but it was an abnormal technical loss caused by the accounting standard. So yes. Why are we wasting so much of our time? Don't let us confuse the financing side with the paper accounting that we have here. So that 60 billion has nothing to do with this financing issue.
I get that, but I'm talking specifically about the zero financing challenge that we've seen, which what I'm just talking about, that overexposure. That's what I'm talking about now. Yes.
Now that one we have, you yourself provided the figures that there was zero financing in 17, 18, 19, and 21. It was only in 2020 that there was no zero financing. Now
also in 2022. Also in 2022.
Yeah, because of IMF. Yeah. So the 2021 COVID is accepted, but I mean the legislators are there. They know what should have happened. Is it the Bank of Ghana which has to make the application, or the Ministry of Finance? Bank of Ghana doesn't stand on this own. They stand under Ministry of Finance. So if they have a beef, then I would have thought that the gun should be directed at the Ministry of Finance, but not at Bank of Ghana, because they are under the ministry. So if they have to go to Parliament to seek any breach of the law as an exception, then there is the ministry which will do that, but not Bank of Ghana.
Well, in response on the same program, Boku Central MP Mahama Yarga, who's already invoked the powers of the special prosecutor to investigate this matter, disagreed with the banking consultant. He insists the central bank governor has been incompetent.
The Bank of Ghana Act imposes a responsibility on the central bank to be an advisor to the government on financial matters, fiscal matters, monetary policy. The central bank is supposed to be advising. Now, what he is telling me is that, or telling all of us, is that we should not hold the Bank of Ghana responsible for the financial mess that the Ministry of Finance has caused, which has overexposed the central bank. And then when the finance minister decided to do DDE, and then he willingly accepted and forfeited his monies in the process, he ran into that loss, and therefore we should not hold him accountable. That's clearly unacceptable. First and foremost, his failure in advising government not to create the financial mess that has ultimately affected the central bank itself is something that we should be holding him accountable for. And so far as we are concerned, the law says that he should come and inform Parliament. And I don't know where and in which law he's been told that the central bank is under the Minister of Finance. If you go to the Constitution, the central bank is not under the Minister of Finance. Central bank is an independent institution, given all the protection under the Constitution. And the law that we are dealing with, the Bank of Ghana Act, is very clear. It says that he should come and inform Parliament himself in a development like that. So in all respects, the central bank governor has violated the law. In every respect, he has been incompetent. In every respect, he has run a loss. Yes, in the past, he made profits, 1.5 billion, 1.4 billion.
Yeah.
Now, if you have been making profit of 1.4 billion, 1.5 billion, and then ultimately 1 year you lose 60 billion, I mean, totally undoing everything else that you have done.
Now, away from that story, President Akufo-Addo is calling on traditional rulers to take a stance against illegal mining. Interior Minister Ambrose Derry, reading a speech on his behalf at the celebration of the Wala Dumba, urged traditional rulers to use their powers to drive home the message of the environment not being for sale. JoyNews' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
There have never been a time in the 15-year history of the reign of the Wala Overlord, now Hussein Sidi Philippo IV, that his close family members and associates will love the temple scrapping of the crossing over the cow to clamor the Demba Festival than today. The occupant of the over century-year-old iconic palace for some time has been unwell and appears to be weak, frail, in pain for such an onerous mandatory yearly tax. first daughter of the overlord, Princess Barkisu Fuseni Pelpu, just held back her tears and shared her disconsolation. We are not always happy considering the sea of people always around to see whether he will fail to cross over the cow or not. Apart from that, he's old and unwell and even has mobility challenges. If he was a young man, he would easily jump over the cow, but in this case, he's an old man. He has lots of people under him and they look up to him for survival, and that's why we are crying, but he's lamented. Now, Hussein said to Pelpo the fourth, however, gathered momentum, knowing the consequences should he refuse to undertake the tax or fail in crossing over the cow. Dressed in a faded red smock, replete with 4 talismans pinned to his chest, was led by representatives from all the 12 recognized sects in Wa, including his warriors. He sounded around. Many had their hearts in their mouths when the drums were sounded for the last, signaling him to cross over the cow. Amid the tension, anxiety, and the tears from the midst of the people here, the overlord crossed over the cow successfully for the 15th time. A representative of the British High Commissioner to Ghana, Paul Edwards, who was among the crowd, was happy with what he saw.
Very, very joyous that he managed to do that. And so it was, again, a pleasure for me to be a part of this. And you felt the celebration when it happened, and of course everybody was happy.
So when I was about to cross over the cow, were you having some butterflies in your stomach?
I think everybody did, didn't they? Everybody wanted it to succeed. And of course it did. So we were all very, very happy.
Meanwhile, Interior Minister Ambrose there is speaking on behalf of President Akufo-Addo, underscored the important role played by traditional rulers in complementing the effort of the government to possibly change the lives of the people. He therefore called on the traditional authorities to take a firm stance against illegal mining.
As we gather here today, I call upon our traditional authorities to take a firm stance against illegal mining. Let us use the power and respect of our chieftaincy institutions. Command to drive home the message that our environment is not for sale, and that the short-term gains of illegal mining cannot outweigh the long-term cost to our communities.
He noted that safety and security of citizens remains the top priority of the government, citing the influx of foreign nationals into the Upper region, warning that the country's security is on high alert and won't countenance any deviant behavior.
And we will not allow any deviant individuals to take advantage of this situation to infiltrate and perpetrate nefarious activities in our beloved country. Koro Chairman, as you are aware, no nation can develop without the prevalence of peace and stability. Only when the wind of peace and tranquility blows through the length and breadth of the country can it achieve growth and development.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Wow.
And here in our studios in Kokomlemle and Bernice Abubeidulansa, we take a quick breather now, but when I come back, I'll be telling you what Omni Basic Bank has been doing to ensure that its staff remain healthy and also create a better bond with customers. Do stay for that.
Silver iodide.
You're right.
your calendars, set reminders, and get ready for the academic showdown of the year. The 2023 National Science and Maths Quiz. It's time for the brightest young minds in Ghana to battle it out for academic supremacy. Expect mind-bending equations, heart-pounding moments, and nail-biting suspense as the best schools go head-to-head. Who will emerge the ultimate champions and claim the prestigious trophy? Catch the action on TV, radio, and online starting 6th to 24th October 2023. The 2023 National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with Goyle PLC and supported by AT, Airtel Tigo, Prudential Life Insurance Ghana, Pepsodent, Betamalt, APSA, Accra College of Medicine, Academic City University College, Coronation Insurance, Garnet, Cowbell, Belacqua, GTP, and YFM. The broadcast of the National Science and Maths Quiz on Joy News and Joy Prime is supported by Vitamilk, German Ozone Medical Center, Virtual Security Africa, Royal Full, Ace Medical Insurance, Chop Box Technologies, Syntex Tanks, Build Financial Technologies, and Family Health University College.
Owning a home is an accomplishment. When it comes to choosing our preference of living, we are faced with a dilemma. Will you go for affordability, comfort, or luxury?
Well, we will help you choose your preferred home at a very affordable and convenient way at the 2023 edition of the Republic Bank Lovatham Habitat Fair, slated for Friday, 6 October to Sunday, 8th October 2023 at the Kumasi City Mall, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day.
This event is brought to you by your superstation, Love 99.5 FM, in partnership with Republic Bank.
Powered by Airport City HDG Homes and sponsored by DBS Industries Limited, Syntex Tank, the ultimate protection plus insurance product from Star Life Assurance, Safety and Home Solutions, supported by
Owning a home is an accomplishment. When it comes to choosing our preference of living, we are faced with a dilemma. Will you go for affordability, comfort, or luxury?
Well, we will help you choose your preferred home at a very affordable and convenient way at the 2023 edition of the Republic Bank Lovatham Habitat Fair, slated for Friday, 6 October to Sunday, 8th October 2023 at the Kumasi City Mall, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day.
This event is brought to you by your superstation, Love 99.5 FM, in partnership with Republic Bank.
Powered by Airport City HDG Homes and sponsored by DBS Industries Limited, Syntex Tank, the ultimate protection plus insurance product from Star Life Assurance, Safety and Home Solutions, supported by
Alfred, silver iodide.
You are right.
Mark your calendars, set reminders, and get ready for the academic showdown of the year. The 2023 National Science and Maths Quiz. It's time for the brightest young minds in Ghana to battle it out for academic supremacy. Expect mind-bending equations, heart-pounding moments, and nail-biting suspense as the best schools go head-to-head. Who will emerge the ultimate champions and claim the prestigious trophy? Catch the action on TV, radio, and online starting 6th to 24th October 2023. The 2023 National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with Goyle PLC and supported by AT, Airtel Tigo, Prudential Life Life Insurance Ghana, Pepsodent, Better Malt, APSA, Accra College of Medicine, Academic City University College, Coronation Insurance, Garnet, Cowbell, Belaqua, GTP, and YFM. The broadcast of the National Science and Maths Quiz on Joy News and Joy Prime is supported by Vitamilk, German Ozone Medical Center, Virtual Security Africa, Royal Full, Ace Medical Insurance, Chop Box Technologies, Syntex Tanks, Build Financial Technologies, and Family Health University College.
Thanks for staying here on News Desk with me, Bernice Abubeidu-Lansa. And Omnibasic Bank has reiterated its continuous use of its periodic health work to bond with customers of the bank. According to Omnibasic, this is also aimed at improving the health of its staff. There's more in the following report.
The walk, which happened over the weekend, was organized by the bank to champion the need for staff to exercise regularly to promote healthy living and also create a corporate bond. Over 1,000 management employees and customers embarked on the 10-kilometer walk, which commenced at Burma Camp Sports Complex and ended at the same venue for an aerobic session. Speaking to the media, Managing Director of Omnibasic, Daniel Siedu, said the consistency of the exercise has made the bank win an award.
Like you can see, it's been a very successful health walk, just like the previous ones. And we are excited. I want to say a big thank you to our customers and our partners for joining us. I mean, indeed, they continue to keep faith with us. And we are grateful to every one of you who has come to participate. The numbers, we are in our thousands, and this is the best that you can have in this market. No wonder we have been recognized by the African Event Awards as the best health walk for 2023, and this is the award here. As at the time we received this award, we had only done 2 health walks. And there have been previous health walks in this market or in this country. But yet, with just 2 that we did, we were recognized as the best health walk.
And before I go, let me just bring you a quick update on NSFQ 2023. I hope you are as excited as I am because preparations are ongoing for the preliminary contest to begin the 30th edition, which initially, the quiz had initially over 500 schools, has now narrowed down to 147 for the nationals. 117 of them are expected to be participating at the preliminary stage. Schools that arrived on the Kenya University campus tell my colleague Jacqueline and Sumaya Boa they are poised for action.
It's that time where all the schools converge at one place for the National Science and Maths Quiz. We are right here at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where we have about 56 schools arriving for the preliminary contest of the 2023 edition of the National Science and Maths Quiz. So let's have an interaction with most of the students who are arriving today to get to know the expectations, how far and how well they have prepared for this contest.
For me here, I have students from St. Monica's Secondary School. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
You look like you're shy. You're here starting with the preliminaries. How well are you prepared for it? I'll start with you.
We are well prepared and we are just hoping for the best because we have been learning throughout for almost 3 years now, and then we are hoping that it will come out well for us.
All right. But my big question, any school here that you see as a threat to the competition that you're about to contest for? Because sometimes you'd be like, hey, this school is like, we might not be able to conquer them. But let me know, which school do you think is a threat to you?
Well, for me, it's Yellow Kobo, but we are hoping that...
Yellow Kobo. Why Yellow Kobo?
Looking at their performance at the regional championship, they did really well. They were very impressive. It's kind of like a threat.
A threat to you. All right, what about you? Do you think it's so Yellow Kobo?
Yes.
Okay, what about you?
Okay, me, I don't really have a threat in terms of the schools. I believe we are going to face the questions. So if the questions are suitable for us, then we are winning. We don't have any threat.
I've got a couple of them. It's not a couple. All the contestants are here. So can you tell me your name? I'll start with you.
Butchie Bright.
Bright and?
James Guest.
And? Steven. Okay. Can you give it to him?
Steven.
All right. So how has it been for you so far? Last year you got to the preliminary stage. You got knocked out. This year you are back. What is different this time around? Let me start with you.
Oh, we are hoping you should qualify from the prelims to 1/8 or quarterfinals. That's why we are here.
Not the main finale. You don't want to qualify for the main finale.
Oh, if by the God grace we qualify there, we will thank that God who helped us.
Okay. You contested 3 years ago. How was it for you? How has it been? Wait, how has life been for you? Normal. It didn't come with any pressure and all that.
No.
But what were some of the lessons that you learned, which was 3 years ago?
2 years.
2 years ago, 2021. So how has it been for you so far?
Actually, it was the first time for the school. So preparation wasn't all that easy. Yeah, so but we did our best by qualifying from the zone.
Now, yeah, at least was that your first time?
Yes,
and then that was quite a pressure on you, wasn't it? Or it wasn't that much of a pressure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Being here for the first time, no, pressure was there although, but not all that much.
Okay. All right. And where are you now? Do you pursue your science and maths? Because usually there's this argument that most of the times when we are done, we don't really hear of them. But I'm glad I met you today. What have you been up to?
Right now, I'm currently at UMAT.
Okay.
Pursuing mining engineering.
That's great. All right.
Our Father, bless us all.
You know, this is the station to stay glued to for everything NSMQ, and we will be starting the preliminary stages later this week, the competitions of the preliminary stage later this week, so we'll be bringing you all the updates. But thank you so much for joining me on this edition of News Desk. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. We are also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as Joy News on TV. Do enjoy the rest of your day and stay with us here on your most credible news source.